Hello, everyone. It's your girl Tiff. What we go through that too. So let's go through it. The topic of the day is living in an uncomfortable comfort zone. I chose this topic in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I just wanted to give back to those who are currently still in a domestic violence relationship, to those who didn't survive domestic violence, and to those who are still coping and healing. Living in an uncomfortable living in an uncomfortable comfort zone for me, my meaning and how I view it was that I was living in a place in my life where I thought it should have been, when you think of a home, you think of, this is my safe haven. This is where I can be most vulnerable. This is where I can let all of my emotions, all of my feelings, I could be free in my home. It started out that way, but as time went on, it just became more and more uncomfortable. It became fearful. It became sad. It became lonely. It became foreign. It was full of hurt and pain and confusion and disloyalty and betrayal. It became a ball of a bunch of crap. It's very hard for me to talk about, this part of my life because, of course, this was a part of my life that I had built up a wall because I didn't want to go there because I felt like for me to talk about it, I would have to put my ex-husband out there. I would have to expose him. And my aim was never to hurt anybody or to seek vengeance or, anything like that, and it held me back. And I finally, one day, I kicked those walls down. And here I am today. I remember a time, I think throughout the abuse, one of the time where we had an argument, and I had worn something that was a bit revealing that he didn't like. And we didn't go out together this particular time because usually back then, if I went out or I did something, it was with him. This particular time, I think I was just hanging out and I had some clothes on. I was kind of small then. I was shapely, and he didn't like what I had on. I remember him getting in my face and just saying the most horrible things that you would think that a man that says he love you, and he's calling you all kinds of bitches and pushing you around. And he threw me to the floor. He grabbed me by my hair, and the way that he would grab me by my hair, he would grab it and he would shake my head. He would grab my hair like this, and he's talking to me. He's saying whatever it is he needs to say. And I remember him having a Seagram gin bottle, so he was intoxicated. It was kind of like cool at the time because I remember the heater was on, and we had one of those heaters. It wasn't the electric heater. It was like the gas heater where you light it from the front and you could actually touch the flame. So we had one of those in our bedroom. And when he threw me to the floor and he was pulling my hair and he was saying all these derogatory things to me and degrading me and, just basically being verbal, that was the verbal abuse. And he said to me, "I'll cancel you, bitch, and I'll buy me another." And out of all of the different abuse situations that we went through, that was one of the ones I think that stuck with me the most. I always felt like verbal abuse to me was worse than physical abuse because the words will always ring in my head. I would always play them back in my head, and it was so hurtful because you would think like, damn, I love this man so much, like I couldn't dare talk to him that way. And this man say he love me, but he could talk to me, tell me, I cancel you, bitch, and I buy me another. He poured the alcohol on me. And I remember the flames from the heater coming out like, whoo, because the alcohol, when he was pouring it on me, saying, I cancel you, bitch, I guess he must have had watched too much of New Jack City, and he felt like he was Nino Brown then. So, he poured the alcohol on me, all over me, and splashes of it was getting. I remember my eyes burning. I remember feeling the heat from the heater, because when it splashed in the heater, it was just like woof. So the flames kind of jumped out, and he left me there. He left me there to deal with the pain that he had inflicted on me physically and verbally. Now, he would always come back, and when he would come back, it was almost like he didn't, like I could see it in his face that he wanted to apologize. And I never, ever, ever heard him say, I'm sorry. He would just, I could be in the bed after, after the abuse. Later on that day, I could be in the bed because I'm feeling down, like my mind is all over the place. And he would come and he would sit on the bed and he'll say stuff like, he'll come off like, you hungry. He'll come in that way, you're hungry. And I wouldn't even be thinking about eating at the time. I would just probably be like, no, I'm good. Well, what's wrong with you? Man, I don't, you think I want to do this? You think I want to act like this? You think I want to see you all bruised? You think I want to put my hands on you? I don't want to do nothing like that. It was like, it was never that I know what I did was wrong and I'm not going to do it again. I don't think, and that was my first sign that, yes, it's going to, it happened this one time, but it's going to happen again. So I didn't know that then. I just loved him so much. All I could think about was, okay, I'm just not going to dress that way anymore. I'll make sure that when I do go out, that I'm covered up and I'm not wearing anything that's gonna set him off. That was the only thing that was going through my mind at the time. I wasn't even thinking about getting out. I wasn't thinking about moving on. I wasn't thinking about seeking any type of help or counseling to help me get out of that situation, because I thought this man loved me. I honestly thought in my mind that I made this man that mad that he put his hand on me, and he put his hand on me because he loved me. That was my first mistake.